Well, we've recently done a report on the tech startup industry in Dublin, and what we found is that there is an amazing ecosystem here in Dublin. There is a huge network of small startup companies, some of them around the area of the digital hub, some of them sited in the digital hub itself, some of them down around Grand Canal Basin that are kind of feeding off the energy that's coming from companies like Facebook and Google that are in that area. Right along, if you like, the spine between Grand Canal Basin and the digital hub, there is a huge ecosystem of startup companies. And these are young, highly educated, typically technology-driven entrepreneurs who are looking to create new businesses, and they are actually making an impact. Not only are they employing themselves, they're employing others to work with them, and they're gradually beginning to grow. It's kind of a hidden gem in Dublin, not getting the attention, the publicity or the marketing that it could be getting, but we believe in the Dublin Chamber that it has the potential to create nearly 3,000 jobs and to be a really significant contributor to the economy. I think Dublin compares extremely well. I mean, first and foremost, we have a very young tech-savvy population here in Dublin, and that's a tremendous asset for any company starting up because they have an infrastructure and an ecosystem of qualified people that they can draw on to help their business. There's also a great energy in Dublin. I mean, people who come to visit Dublin often say this. You just walk around the city, you feel that energy on the street, you see all of the young people. We have a very young population compared to all European cities. So they're tremendous assets, but we also have this ecosystem of companies already in business. And in the entrepreneurial area, indeed in all areas of business, there's a tremendous energy around clusters. Companies like to be near other companies that are like them because they can draw on their expertise, they can trade information, they can, if necessary, trade skills and expertise. So that clustering effect provides a fantastic energy, and we believe that Dublin has that in spades over and above other European cities. Well, there are a couple of things we'd like to see. First and foremost, technology businesses, or indeed any new business, the evidence from the United States, in particular Silicon Valley, is that a very significant proportion of businesses are started by people who aren't born in that area. So one of the key things we would like to see is the government opening up the visa system for people coming to work and start businesses here in Ireland. And we'd like that to be addressed so that people and their partners or spouses can come here and actually contribute to the economy. It's very, very important. At the moment, we've quite a restrictive process around accessing a visa to work or establish a business here. So that's the very first thing. We'd also like to see a little bit more attention put on this area because we hear about other European countries and cities talking about their tech startup business. Dublin doesn't tend to shout about theirs. So we would like to see government and local government put more focus on this, and indeed organisations like Enterprise Ireland, to run award systems, to recognise winners in this area in a more constructive way. We'd like to see the whole area of tech startup being given a push in terms of marketing and awareness, brand awareness for Dublin in this regard. And of course then there has to be the infrastructure that will allow these companies to establish. And by infrastructure I mean both the soft and the hard infrastructure. So the soft infrastructure is the access to seed funding, the access to venture capital, the access to legal support, the technical access to setting up companies, but then the hard infrastructure of buildings, places for companies to set up, and indeed, of course, the technology and broadband infrastructure that needs to be there to really allow companies operate on a global basis. Well, it's very interesting because this very report, Best Place to Start Up Dublin, has come from quite a unique stakeholder cooperation initiated by the Dublin Chamber of Commerce, very, very quickly embraced by Dublin City Council. It's under a project called Activating Dublin. It's about activating Dublin for Ireland, but putting a focus on Dublin, and we must recognise that city regions are key drivers of economies, and it's really important that we get Dublin right if the rest of the economy is also to get right. So together with Dublin City Council and Dublin Chamber of Commerce, we've also been able to attract the attention and the support of private sector industry, both consultancy and some of the big companies like Google and Facebook and PayPal and so on. And also we've managed to get government involved, particularly through the Department of Finance. So they have been lending their expertise and guidance and direction through some of their personnel. And all of these different perspectives really help to make things happen. Our objective under Activating Dublin is implementation. It's not about writing reports. It's very much about making things happen that can create jobs and work us towards Dublin being a really great place to live and work.